Hello guys, and welcome to my new video. In this video we are going to create a UX design for those three screens. So I have already designed those screens in Adobe XD, so now we can focus on UX design. For UX design we are going to use ProtoPie, so the link will be down in the description. And when you open a new project you will see this preview here on the right side, so let's increase that a little bit. Okay, let's adjust those screen size, and now let's select our application layout. In this case it will be iPhone X layout, so let's remove those device frames for now, and let's increase this a little bit so we can see our application more clearly. Alright, okay, that's good for now. So let's import our screen. So select Adobe XD and select the first welcome artboard. Import size will be 3x and click import. So there it is. It's pretty much the same screen as you saw back in the Adobe XD. So we're going to add the first trigger, which is a start. And now we're going to set the default values for our logo to 0 opacity. And we're going to increase the opacity inside our start trigger, and we're going to select some easing and increase the duration for our fade animation into maybe 1.5 seconds. Okay, now that's even better. Okay, so basically this first welcome screen is done. So in the scenes here we are going to rename this to welcome. And we are going to add new scene for the second screen. So let's add that, and let's import our second artboard. So let's rename here the second scene as well. Okay, select Adobe XD and select the login artboard with the import size of 3x as well. Okay, and there it is, the second screen. Okay, so let's get back to the first screen for in the first scene. And let's add a jump. So we're going to jump on our second login with a transition of slide in bottom to top, and delay maybe for 5 or 4 seconds. And after that we're going to get our screen like that. Okay, now let's switch back to our second scene and select this header container. And we're going to set a start trigger as well. So let's first copy Y position of our header container, and we're going to move this header container on the top like that. And we're going to add a move response here. So we're going to move header into our original position, which we copied. It is Y position 136, and as you can see it will come from the top like that. So let's choose some easing and duration for this animation. Okay, maybe quart, and duration can be 0.6 seconds. Okay, now that looks even better. Okay, and after that we're going to see those two texts for password and email address, but I'm going to remove that because we don't actually need those. Instead we're going to add an input field like that. So let's put this input field down below on top of our regular input. So let's rename this to username input, like that. Okay, and we're going to increase width and height to match our existing input in the background. So like that, and we're going to increase the radius to 100. So down below, scroll and you'll see radius. Okay, and now we need to add a few adjustments here. For example, we're going to change text color to white. Okay, we can switch input text, placeholder text to username, and we can change even a font if we want. For example, I will set SF Pro display regular or light maybe, and font size maybe to 18. Okay, now it's better. And down below we're going to remove. Okay, let's first change the color to white here, 30% opacity, and just uncheck those fill and border, so we can have design like that. Okay, now it looks better. And we're going to do that the same for password input. So we're going to create another input. Okay, just to repeat that step as earlier, and let's position that down below in front of our original input field. Okay, let's increase width and height as well. Okay, and of course increase that, increase width, and change the radius to 100 again. Okay, now we can change a few more things like we did with a font, with a text color to white, with a placeholder color to white as well, but with a 30% opacity, with placeholder text password, and we're going to remove this fill and border. Okay, now it looks very good. So when we type or on those fields, we will get this keyboard like that. So let's rename our password input to password input. Okay, and now we have those two inputs as well. After that, let's just change the return to next for our username input. Okay, so now it looks even better. Okay, and the next thing we are going to do, export those two images in green color. So let's just rename those icons to password icon 2 and email icon 2. This is actually username icon, but never mind. Just export this as PNG, and we're going to import those two files inside our project in ProtoPie. Okay, and now we're going to move those two new icons just below our original icons in a white version. So we're in the layers section. We're going to put those two new icons just below those original white icons. Okay, and now let's check the actual position, and let's copy the X and Y position of our original white icons, so we can paste those X and Y values inside our new icons. Okay, just paste X is 40 and Y is 428. Okay, and let's increase the size a little bit, and you might not see it, but the icon is actually behind, so we will decrease opacity of our white icon, and there you go, you can see that. Okay, so we're going to repeat this step again for our password icon. So let's copy Y and X positions of our original white version of icon, and we're going to paste those positions inside our new icon here. So 40 and 497. Let's increase the size, and there it is. Perfect. Okay, so the reason why I did is because I want to add the new animations. So select on focus trigger, and this time we're going to select the username. So response will be opacity. So when we focus our username input, we're going to decrease the opacity of our email icon white version to 0. And now when you click that, when you focus this input, this icon will get green or even okay. And now we're going to add a tap trigger for our background. So when we tap a background, this icon will turn from green to white again. So let's type on the background, okay, and we got our icon back. So basically we are changing opacity from 0 to 100 and from 100 to 0. So we're going to add one more focus here, and we're going to choose a password input this time. It's pretty much the same steps like we did just earlier. So we're going to increase the opacity or decrease the opacity to 0 here first. And we need to add one more response in our tap trigger. So when we tap on the background, our icon will increase the opacity. So let's select password icon and increase to 100. Okay, so as you can see now, when we tap on the background, both of those icons will get their original color, right? Okay, that's a pretty decent effect. So we need to add more animations here, because when we type on one input field and when we type on another input field, both of those fields does not change the color. So we need to fix that, and the way we fix is by adding one more opacity in our focus triggers. So we are increasing the opacity of our email icon inside our password input trigger. So as you can see, okay, and now it works well. And the next thing we need to add is our background footage. So I have found the one footage on pexels.com website. So here you have many of those videos which you can download for your project, or maybe even better if you have your own drone shots like that. So I just downloaded this file and I'm going to import in our project. So first I need to increase the height. So I'll do that by holding shift and dragging, so I can increase the width and height of this video, and I'll set that to the center. And on the layers tab here, I'm going to put this video down below, and I will decrease the background opacity to 90. Okay, 90 instead of 60. Okay, and now select this video and check those two options, play automatically and looping, and now your video will play forever. Okay, that's pretty nice effect on your application, right? Okay. So now we are going to group all those elements here for username field. So both of those icons, username input, okay, and basically everything here. So just click Ctrl G and group all those elements inside one container. We're going to rename this container to username container maybe. Okay, and now we're going to do that the same for our password field down below. So select all those elements here on the password input, okay, and just Ctrl G and rename this container to password container. Okay, you can even rearrange those containers as you wish. Okay, so now let's copy the initial X position of those containers, and let's move them, the first one on the left side. So we're going to add the move response in our start trigger. Okay, so let's paste that X position, duration maybe 0.6. Okay, and easing to quart. Okay, it's very nice. And let's do the same for a password container. Copy X position, and we're going to move this element now on the right side instead. Okay, just hold shift and move this on the right side. And we're going to add one more move response here and paste our X position, and of course select easing, quart as well, and duration to 0.6 seconds. And now it looks very nice. So right before we finish this first part, we're going to do a UX for this toggle button. So as you can see, we have two images here, one circle and one rectangle with a full radius, but we're going to create a new circle or oval, and we're going to copy position of our existing green toggle to our oval one. Okay, and we are going to set that on top of our green toggle like that. Okay, just adjust it perfectly. Okay, and when we create that, we can remove this green toggle down below. Okay, because we don't actually need this image, because we have an actual shape which we can adjust position, colors, and basically anything. Okay, now we have green color, and we can move that left or right. So the next thing which I'm going to do is add a tap trigger. So we're going to select our Remember Me container here, and whenever a user clicks this Remember Me container, this green toggle will switch positions from left to right and reverse, and change the color, of course. So in order to implement that function here, we need to create a variable. You will see now. So let's copy X position from the left side and paste that here. Okay, as you can see, it moves from right to left, and we're going to achieve that more precisely by using variables. So now on the left bottom corner you see a variables, click plus and click for this scene. Rename this variable to X, and you can switch number, text, and even color here, but in this case we will just choose a number, which is 0, and it's a default value. So let's add the response condition here. So select this X value, and basically if an X is equals to 0, then we are going to add a few more responses, like move. Okay, just select this green toggle down below. Okay, that's right, leave that all as it is, and we're going to add a color response here as well. So we are going to change color to some gray color like that, with 100 fill%. Okay, duration to 0 for the color, and as you can see, it looks very nice. So the third response here will be assign. So we're going to reassign the value of our X variable from 0 to 1 this time, and we're going to add one more condition here down below. You'll see. Okay, so now basically we changed the value dynamically, and now we'll say here if an X is equals to 1, we're going to add, of course, move and color responses here as well. So first is move for our green toggle. Okay, let's move it to the original position of 27.02 X. Okay, and now as you can see, when we click again, it will move from the left to right. And let's change the color from the gray to the green with 100% fill and 0 duration. And let's reassign value again from 1 to 0. This time is 0. And now when you click and click again, it goes left, right, and it's basically a loop now. So that's pretty much it for this Remember Me loop here inside our ProtoPie project. And before we finish this part 1, I'm just going to create one more animation for this Remember Me container. So we're going to copy X value of this container, and we're going to move that on the right side. So in our start trigger, we're going to add one more move response. Let's select the Remember Me container, and let's paste our original X position. Of course, create easing to quart, duration to 0.6, and there you go. Okay, so that was pretty much it for this first part. And in the next part, we are going to finish creating our UX for those 3 screens completely. So thank you for watching, guys, and please like this video if you find it helpful, of course, and see you in the second part.